Well, good day. Welcome to another episode of Raw Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? Well, let's get into this particular segment because I want to talk about this later right here. Well, Trump finally did his speech at the RNC convention. You know, I haven't went through the convention speeches, but I'm going to go through them one by one. I'm going to do a live reaction to everybody's speech in the Democratic side and on the Republican side, and I'm going to do that on the Bobby Brown Show, a live reaction. I haven't seen none of these speeches, and I did that on purpose because I want to give you my reaction because I tend to kind of go off sometimes on some of these speeches. But yeah, Kamala Harris immediately came to give the rebuttal to Donald Trump's speech. This is what she had to say.
Generation. People are rightfully angry and exhausted. And after the murders of Breonna and George and Ahmaud and so many others, it's no wonder people are taken to the streets. And I support them. We must always defend.
All right, let me stop there. Trump support protests. Whether you believe it or not, he voiced his support for the protests. He don't voice his support for the agitators, the people who want to start stuff, the rioters, the looters, and yeah, even Antifa. And yeah, even some white supremacists, and even some people who are dressed up like Antifa want me starting something like the Jackson Fives. So you saying you support that doesn't mean anything. See, the Democrats trying to show that they're in support of our issues. If you're in support, how come you ain't passed any criminal laws to put the hurt on police officers? Oh, you're not going to do that because you didn't do that while you were the Attorney General of California or District Attorney or DA. Especially when you were DA, you did not criminalize. Matter of fact, you covered up for the police department. But touche, let me keep going.
Peaceful protest and peaceful protesters. We should not confuse them with those looting and committing acts of violence, including the shooter who was arrested for murder. And make no mistake, we will not let these vigilantes and extremists derail the path to justice. The Republican convention.
So you're not going to let these criminals derail the path of justice. Woman, you have been you've been pro-authoritarian police officer and militias and all that in California. You covered up for the cops left and right, but you wouldn't do none of that. But you were brutal even on parents who have kids. You're trying to paint that justice is only going to be done through the Democratic Party, and that's not so. Justice is only going to be done from outside the party, cracking you upside the head politically with a no vote. A decisive loss. And that goes for Trump and his ilks too. You want to earn our votes? How about getting there and start working on some criminal justice now? Why don't you turn to Joe Biden and tell him, Joe, I'm sorry. I thank you for picking me as VP, but you're going to have to overturn the entire crime bill and start from scratch as soon as we get elected. I know you don't like that, but you need to start talking about that right now, how you are going to make a wrong right, but you ain't going to do that, right? Because you're his chief disciple. You love the crime bill. You studied it. Oh, you studied it. You acted out. You demonstrated it till you became perfect at it. And now you're his chief disciple, and I say cheap for a reason, when it comes to exercising the current criminal justice criminal justice law as a result of the crime bill.
Is designed for one purpose: to soothe Donald Trump's ego.
See, again, I want to make this about Donald Trump, but yeah, I guess this is about the RNC speech. And yeah, Donald Trump got an ego, and he likes his ego stroke, and he'll do whatever he can to get that. You got maniacs like that, but you like your ego stroke. You're just as egotistical as anybody else. And boy, don't let me get on Joe Biden.
To make him feel good. But here's the thing. He's the president of the United States.
She sounds so freaking phony, man. So phony. Somebody done gave her a speech. She done rehearsed it, and she got it down packed. And she don't even look serious. She just shocked that Joe Biden picked her. Actually picked her. I mean, they had a deal going on from the jump, but she's actually shocked that Joe Biden went through with the deal. This lady right here.
And it's not supposed to be about him. It's supposed to be about the health and the safety and the well-being of the American people.
Well, how come you didn't talk about that when you were at your convention? Why you didn't talk about the safety of people? Why you didn't? Well, right now, there's medication to help people with COVID at the beginning stages. You're not giving that to them. You're not offering it to them. Matter of fact, because Trump mentioned one of the medications of the three, you are pushing on the side of we're not going to give people this stuff. We're just going to let people die. That's you. And don't let us talk about, what was that you just talked about? Don't even mention this.
American people. People. And the well-being of the health and the safety and...
Don't mention health. You signed on the Bernie Sanders bill. And then you turn around and say, I signed on a lot of bills. All of them are good. Her expression and everything is phony as a $2 bill on top of baloney.
The well-being of the American people. And on that measure, Donald Trump has failed. Trump showed that we in the legal profession would call a reckless disregard for the well-being of the American people.
Oh boy, this lady right here. Disregard for the reckless being of the American people. You had prisoners, a lot of them that was innocent, a lot of them who just wanted to get some time knocked out so they can get to their families early. You told them the only way they can get that knocked off is they have to fight forest fires to protect the home of the wealthy elite Californians. And you got the nerves to talk about life. Oh, God.
A reckless disregard for the danger a pandemic would pose to American lives. Donald Trump's...
You are being reckless and dangerous when it comes to this pandemic too, because there's early medication that could treat people, and you done shamed the medication, joked Donald Trump about the medication. A lot of it, he brought it on himself, but you still follow that lead. Yet.
Incompetence is nothing
You want to make this about him and not you all.
new. That has always been on full display. But in January of this year, it became deadly.
Guys, that woman is such a phony. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that she broke history. First female and black female to win the nomination of the presidency. Yes, she do have about 25% black in her. The other 25%, and that 25% comes from her biracial Jamaican daddy, who happens to be black and Scotch-Irish. And her mother is 100% Indian. So she got a little bit of black in her. I don't know what to say about this stuff. She's trying to look presidential. She looked phony. her words and the way they come out are not hers. You can tell she got that from some speech writer. And to be going after Trump, which he should be going after, but you ain't the one to go after him. Because you're female. You're just Trump with a dress on and a wig and a tan skin. Because you're just as horrible and bad toward black men. And let me keep it on black men, because obviously you got an issue with men. Maybe it's your situation with your daddy. Maybe your mommy did like a lot of mommies do. Crap on your father. You're no good father. And you're no good. And that's just how black people are. Your father's half black. And that's the black side of him and blah, blah, blah. And now you hate black men that you're going to drive them into prison by the droves and get free labor off for your rich buddies. Get out of here with that stuff. Look, guys, I just wanted to show you that the nerves of her to try to say all these things, to make it be about Trump. The ending part of the campaign. The whole campaign was not just about Trump. It's about those who run for office in the RNC, but to begin to go there about Trump when she don't have no room to be moving in that area because she's just as bad, if not worse than Trump. But here's the whole deal. It is so important to recognize your enemy outside and your enemy inside. And clearly, for y'all who are in the Democratic Party, because I'm not in it and never going to join it, you're sleeping with the enemy. And when you're sleeping with the enemy, don't be surprised when you find yourself in the hospital.